Hello, today I'm going to do a video about how to set up an Arduino, well actually specifically the Atmega 328P chip that you program using Arduino, how to set up a standalone environment so that way you can use them in your own circuits and whatnot. This will be the first of a series of videos. The next video I'll show you how to use the Arduino to program the chip while it's in the circuit, so you don't have to keep popping them out and putting them back. And then I can also do a video on how to install bootloader into a new chip, and also even how to use the Arduino as a programmer to program larger chips like the 1284P. Anyways, the first thing you're going to need is, or you're going to want anyway, is a 7805 5-volt voltage regulator, and this is so you can take a larger voltage and give it some consistency to where it puts out 5 volts, which will be good for the Atmega 328P. So as you see, I have a large breadboard here. Install that in there, and then you're going to want to hook up your positive and negative leads to it, but what's important is to put this kind of in the center here of your row, because behind it you're going to want to put a 0.33 microfarad ceramic capacitor in there. This smooths out the signal that's going into the voltage regulator, so it gives it a good clean signal going in. That's the point. This is the 0.33. And if you have the voltage regulator with the front facing away from you, then you're going to want to put the ceramic capacitor with the pins on the left and the middle, because the middle is ground and the left side, when the front's facing away from you, is the input. Then on the other side, you're going to want to take a 0.10 microfarad ceramic capacitor and put it in front of it. So this is going to give you a clean output towards your microcontroller, and you're going to put that with one leg in front of it on the right side, and then the other leg in the center, which is ground. So I'll connect that. Also, of course, we'll use this rail for the power supply that we're going to use. In this case, we're going to use 6 times AA, which is a 9-volt pack, and pretty powerful pack, by the way. I burned out a speaker the other day hooking it up to it through a MOSFET without any kind of resistor, as a dumb move, but nonetheless. So put our ground in here, and awkward angle, so I'm trying to get that in there. Okay, and then a positive lead. So now we have that input in there for the power rail. Now we just want to have our outputs. As you see, I already have extenders that go here to give us all this room. Now I just need to hook up the ground. And I have a convenient piece of, oh no, I do have a piece of red wire. I was going to say I don't have a piece of red wire, so I just use black, but it's better to use this to demonstrate. Okay, so now we have our pathway into the voltage regulator. And it hooks up to this rail, which hooks up to this rail, and then down to this rail, so we have all this room to work with. Okay, now I'm going to put in the Atmega 328P, which is the chip that obviously is in the Arduino Uno. And make sure I pin, okay, that's where I want pin 1, okay. push that in there. And gonna want a 10,000 ohm resistor to go from the pin 1, which is the reset, into the positive. This stops it from resetting itself at a time you don't want it to. And put that in there. Okay, the next thing is on pin 7, you're going to want to hook up the positive to the positive rail. Pin 8, you're going to want to hook up to the negative rail, ground. Okay, pin 9 and 10 are the clock out and clock in. We get your push your oscillator. If you want to have an external oscillator, I'm going to do Arduino without modification. You're going to have to use a 16 megahertz crystal. So just straddle those in between pin 9 and 10. And then for each pin, you're going to want 18 to 22 picofarad ceramic capacitor. I use 22. I have a bunch of those. So you put one leg to connect to the one leg of the capacitor and the other into ground. And you do the same thing for the other one. These are pretty tiny, and you have to be careful with the legs because they're pretty fragile. If you don't do this part or have a ceramic resonator, then your chip generally won't work. Okay, then you got to hook up the analog reference in the back. Straight across from where you did the positive, you're going to want to hook up negative supply there. That's not the analog reference, but it does have to be done. And then next to that one, to the right of that, you're going to need to hook up, that's where the analog reference is. That's got to go to positive. And then next to that is the analog VCC. And that's going to go to positive as well. So now I have these things. So that's all hooked up as far as that goes. But this is loaded with just the default Blink program. So you're going to want to hook up your LED to test. And no, that's the wrong resistor. And actually no, that's wrong. So yeah, okay. So the pin 19 is on the actual pin 19 is equivalent to the digital pin 13 on the Arduino, so that's where you hook it up with that. And so you put the resistor there, and then of course put your anode lead close to the resistor, and then the cathode lead or LED pin into the ground. And now you're all set up with that. Now the only thing left, I believe, is to hook up your battery pack here to here. I'd leave one battery out so I can get everything hooked up, and then put the battery in for the grand finale. Okay, so we make sure that we have our pathway here, and do the voltage in, go in there. Looks pretty good. Alright, well, let's hope for the best then. Hope it doesn't catch fire or something and really ruin my video. Alright, like that speaker. Alright, here we go. And there's the blink. And since you have a good voltage regulator there, these 9 volts are no problem. And It's only going to pull what it needs to pull. I may eventually do a video about how you can use a Arduino or the microcontroller to still control higher voltage devices like motors, because you actually just use the pinout into the gate of a MOSFET transistor N-channel type. And so I'll do that eventually. But for now, this is how you do it. And if you see my video and you have any questions, feel free to comment or shoot me a message. Thank you.